Hi guys. So I wanted to speak about today co-parenting because I know how challenging that relationship is to build. And I know that a lot of people, and I am speaking to a lot of single mothers, so I know obviously there is a father involved or vice versa. And I want to speak from my heart. I want to speak that that is a relationship that took a while for me to repair. And like any other relationship, it takes work, it takes commitment, it takes communication, it takes a lot of like emotions all involved. But at the end of the day, that is someone I choose to respect because of my child, and because that's somebody that's going to be in my life for the rest of my life, not just until my son turns 18. And I know we say that a lot, like, oh, I can't, I just got to deal with this until like my child is 18, when in reality, if you think about it, it's not. I'm 32 and my parents are still co-parenting, you know what I mean? So we have this illusion, and it's like, oh, I don't have to deal with it once my child turns 18. But in reality, there's always going to be moments that you guys going to have to share the same room. So I say that to say that it took a lot of therapy session. It took a lot of healing. It took a lot of like work for me to prepare that relationship. And the reason I decided to do that, it was for the sake of my son, because we either influencing our kid from a hurt place or from a healed place. Whatever decision you decide, it influences your child based on your behavior. So it took effort, it took a commitment, because I had this illusion of what family should look like. And when I decided to part ways, it was like I'm breaking that illusion or that possibility that there is for my son, or I'm giving my son more pain because he's currently going to experience what I experienced, and that's not something I wanted to go through. I wanted for him to go through, because at the end of the day, my mom and my dad got separated when I was 4. So I remember that painful transition, and at the end of the day, I didn't want my son to go through that. But I had to like also heal from that illusion of what family looks like, because that's what was keeping me in that same state of like thinking or being hurt or being frustrated or being in pain because of the illusion of what family is, right? And until I healed that part of me, I was able to actually like be able to take accountability and just, like, this is what it is. Let me just see how I can make it work for the sake of my son, because we look at co-parenting, and most of the time, majority of the time, is because you get separated is because the disagreement is so much more than agreeing, whatever it is. But at the same time, it's like any relationship, right? Any relationship in your life, you have to commit on working on. You have to commit on like communicating and all these things. And most of the time, when we are in pain, when we're in hurt, we're not communicating the way that we should for the sake of our child. We try to involve our pain, we involve our hurt, our frustration, our anger in that relationship, because you guys are not seeing eye to eye that the only person that's really affecting is the child. And again, that goes back to how you want to influence your child, from a hurt place or from a healed place. And when I saw it from that perspective, I was like, no, because I remember like going that's a decision that, you know, an adult takes when they don't want to be with the other parent, and that's okay. But what happens after also can mold the child from, you know, from that pain, because they may not forget what, when you guys, you know, when that breakup happened, but it's how they communicated after that would make that transition a little smoother. Someone once told me, like, you know, at the end of the day, like, that's the person you chose to have a child with. At the end of the day, that's the decision you made. So own up to it and build a relationship that's gonna work for you, for him, and your child, because it's not just like because you want to have them back in your life. No, it's just because what matters most, you like putting your emotions first, and, you know, influencing your child from that and seeing it on their behavior. Or you want to have a happy child, someone that is going to thrive through seeing you going through your own situations and be able to see the positive outcomes of things, right? So through my, you know, one of my hardest challenging thing was, oh, like, you're not parenting the same way that I am, you're not parenting, you're not doing this, I'm not doing that, and just, it was flickering all the time. And something that my therapist once told me, and I'll never forget, it was that you cannot control the other person and the way that they parent. The only thing that you can control is the way that you parent. So what she meant by that was that I had to stop to like trying to control on how he was going to parent, but I can enhance my communication with my son. You know, when there's times that he does something differently or I do something differently than his dad, communicate like we are two different people, and explain. I think, like, you know, us parents was just like, no, this is the way and this is the way, but in reality they're just like curious people, like we all are. They want to know why, or they want to know the truth, and gonna always hear two different perspectives. And it's your responsibility to make sure that the perspective that you're giving your child is coming from, not from a hurt place, from a place that, you know, because that's how they will see life. That would become their belief system. That will be the way that they view life, through your lens. So, but I definitely had to heal that part of me of just like what that family illusion was, because that family dynamic was, because family now to me has a different definition than what it had before, because my illusion, my imagination, my picture perfect on what movies portray most of the time is not always like that, and that's okay. You just have to learn to detach from that imagination, from that possibility that could have happened, and seeing it, how can you create a healthier family dynamic now with the situation that you're currently in. And that's what I choose to do with my son's father, right? Let's give it a different definition of what family is. Like, we don't have to be together. Okay, that's great. Now let's see, like, we could both be in the same room, in the same environment, without being in rivalry. You know, I think in our culture, I think that is something like, oh, mira, pero ellos se llevan bien, eso sí es raro, or like, why is that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we, in our culture, it happens a lot. Like, it's not normalized being co-parenting. But yeah, I hope this helps someone.